Thank you so much. My name is Ickson Manda with the Manufacturing Engineering and Related Services Sector Education and Training Authority. I've been with the merSETA for almost 10 years now. I come from a technology background, got a PhD in information systems, which is why over and above, being affiliated to the merSETA as the head of strategy, also affiliated with a lot of, both local and international research universities and other innovation institutions. I'm a board member of the Internet Association, which is an Internet Society, which is a global institute, which is really there to, promote access to digital inclusivity, especially for, developing countries such as South Africa. I'm very passionate about research in technology, innovation, as well as skills. Hence, digital transformation is something that I'm passionate about, particularly now that we are transitioning from the fourth, to the fifth industrial revolution. Thank you so much. The answer is a definite yes. If we look at where we are as South Africa, and I'm going to look at this, looking at the entire ecosystem, because the moment we talk about skills, we cannot isolate an individual sector, TVET colleges, the universities that are responsible for the supply side, or the industry that is responsible for the demand side, as well as the intermediary bodies, such as the likes of the merSETA, as well as other role players. The answer is a definite yes. And the reason why we have a shortage of skills, particularly in the manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector is one of the many sectors that has been disrupted by advances in technology, advances in innovation, as well as other issues such as emanating from the SDGs, such as the need for sustainability. Now we talk about the circular economy. We need to be sustainable in terms of our manufacturing practices. But if we look at the caliber of skills that we have in South Africa, because this ecosystem is sort of like disjointed, because the ecosystem, it has to work in silence. And as a result, because of the disintegration, we're finding ourselves with a situation where the skills that are produced, that is from the supply side of things, do not meet the requirements of the demand side, which is obviously our manufacturing companies, which is why in South Africa you will always hear industry saying the quality or the caliber of skills that are produced by maybe the TVET sector is not meeting our requirements, and as a result, that is a definite indication that there is a shortage of skills. What is the shortage of skills caused by? It's caused by that lack of synergies between the different role players, be it the supply side of things, the demand side of things, because industry is responsible for utilizing the skills. They utilize the skills, and the supply side in terms of TVET colleges as well as higher education institutions, they are responsible for producing the skills that can meet the demand. But with the two parties not talking to each other, it means that in South Africa we always have a perpetual shortage of skills. And obviously there is also the policy side of things, where the policy is not really enabling the ecosystem to function optimally in terms of producing the right skills. So the shortage is the shortage in terms of the number of people that are out there, be it in terms of artisans. Yes, there are artisans that are being produced, but the question is, are the artisans that are being produced, are they the right quality or the right caliber that are demanded by the industry? So I think that's an interesting question that perhaps I would want some of my panel members, particularly Bob, to respond to, because there's two issues. There is the issue of the quantity, which I believe that in South Africa, we are producing the quantity. Sectors and other industry bodies, as well as universities and TVET colleges, they are producing all these skills. But industry, on the other hand, is saying that we have a shortage of skills. So particularly that would be an interesting point that perhaps Bob can contribute. innovative partnerships, they are quite important. Be it sectors, industry organizations, as well as tertiary institutions. They have to think beyond, the current restrictive, regulations. Because at times there's a tendency, for some of the partners to say policy or regulations doesn't allow us to do it. It's because of the lack of innovativeness in terms of how they approach their partnerships. I'll give an example of, earlier on there was a discussion, be it in the OEM sector, where industries have gone ahead in terms of setting up training academies. And in those for those training academies to be successful, they need cooperation of the local universities, TVET colleges, as well as sectors that will probably obviously come with the funding. So if we look at replicating some of those best practices, or what we can call pockets of excellence, across the entire value chain, I think it will assist in terms of addressing some of these challenges, because it is clear that this cannot be done by industry alone. It cannot be done by TVET colleges. It cannot be done by cities. From a business perspective, I would say more needs to be done to sell the manufacturing sector to young people. If you look at what is happening in universities or TVET colleges, you always see the likes of NetBank, FNB. I see ABSA has their banner up here, but you rarely see the manufacturing companies. So as a result, young people are exposed to what they see. They're exposed to the banking sector, because it's things that they can see. It's things that they've been exposed to, as well as the issue of perception that Bob just alluded to. Most of the young people that are getting into the industry at this point in time, it's people of a generation where, if I look at maybe people from a previously disadvantaged background, what was a typical factory worker? It's someone that usually goes to work so early in the morning, comes late at night, they're probably in overalls, they're hardly making it. And unfortunately, that perception has to change. Meaning that we need people that can be role models to these young people, people that can show them that actually the manufacturing sector is the place to be. Unlike the bankers that we usually see, which is why I mentioned role models. It means that we don't have role models, be it in communities, be it in schools, be it even in some of these higher education institutions. I think that's where we need to start working at the grassroots, at the community level, because it's what they are exposed to. There's a lot that the world has to offer. I'll speak about the artisans. Most young people don't know what it takes to be an artisan. They think being an artisan is obviously always wearing overalls, getting your hands dirty and greasy. And for them, it doesn't appeal to them. But with all these changes that are happening, the modern day artisan is definitely not the same with the artisan that was there maybe 30 or 40 years ago. There is technology that is being introduced. If you go to a BMW plant, some of the artisans as well as technicians that are working there, they're working with smart systems, technology. It really looks cool. That is what young people need